Have you ever played a game called Just a Tip? Well, today's your lucky day because we're going to be testing out this Benchmark backpacker. So let's get to it. The Benchmark backpacker. Now this one does not have a guard, as you can see, so it's very easy for your fingers to slide down onto that blade. That would not be a pleasant experience. So what we're going to do, this one covers about 3 of your fingers. I'm going to put my thumb right there so I can get a little oomph behind it. Now to start off, it feels pretty solid. It's a pretty thick blade too. So I don't see this being a problem for it. But let's get a little bit closer. The Benchmark backpacker. You can see here it's a pretty tiny blade. Only fits about 3 of your fingers. We're gonna put this in here real quick. It's a pretty thick blade. I honestly don't see this having any trouble. Now, the biggest concern for me is the pinky there when you're stabbing. So obviously this isn't something that you're probably going to be stabbing with very much. But if need be, the thickness of the blade definitely makes it a contender. Now you may be asking yourself, probably not, but you may. Mr. the Great, how come you're only testing out this style of knife? It's called a fixed blade, by the way, for those of you who don't know, because the blade is fixed. It doesn't fold. It's all one piece of steel all the way through. This one right here is a full tang, which means you can see the steel all the way through the scales on this, which are the handles of the blade. And how come I'm not testing out things like my little Remington pocket knife, which would be considered a folder because it folds? Ha! Fucking mind blown, huh? Well, I'm testing out knives for what I think their intended use would be. Now, this is an everyday utility knife that you would use to like cut string or even a small rope like a 550 cord or something, open some bags in the garden. It wouldn't be anything that you'd really be putting this thing to the extreme. It's not a fighting knife either, which I mean, you could use it for a fighting knife. You could use any knife as a fighting knife, but that's not its intended purpose. At least I don't think it is. Now you have something like this Benchmark backpacker, which conveniently fits on a backpack. This is something you'd probably take with you on a hiking trail, a camping trip, maybe you're out for a jog, although you'd have to tighten that down because that would get very annoying. And you might end up having to use this for some small camping utility, like prying some bark off of a tree or feathering a stick to start a fire. Small things that obviously they have other tools for, but people who like knives, well, we like to look for reasons to use them. So we'll talk more about this in later videos. For now, it's the Benchmark backpacker, tiny little blade, sturdy. I'm gonna test the sharpness and blade effectiveness in the next video. Today we played a game called Just a Tip, where I spend the money to test the durability of knife tips so that you don't have to. In review today, we had the Benchmark backpacker, and after being weighed and measured, it was determined that the tip was enough. In its defense, it's a tiny knife. It's practically all just the tip. Some of you may know what I'm talking about. Anyway, I'm Alfredo the Great, and I'm out.